All right, good morning. Happy Thursday. Couple of announcements. First of all, you'll have an exam on Monday during class on 10-1, 10-2, 10-3. You will not report to WebEx. This is a little different. It's good we're doing this though, because the final for seniors will be like this. Anyhow, don't forget your exam 10-1 through 10-3 on Monday morning during class. Period 2, your class starts at 10:50. So don't be late or you're not going to be able to finish. 10:50 to 11:50. So it's 1 hour and the test will shut off and you'll have 20 minutes to submit your scratch paper. All right, so that's the test on Monday. All right, if you're a senior, you'll be taking your exam during class on Monday, May 24th. That's the following Monday if you're a senior. Talk about that later. All right, so what I'd like to do now is I'd like to give you some more problems for the final. So if you want to write these down. The other day, I gave you problems from 10-1, 10-2, 10-3, and we talked about that those problems are more than likely going to be on this exam on Monday. So you already know half of the exam. All right, so here we go. On the final, in lesson 2.1, you should know how to do number 3, 9, and 29. In lesson 2.2, you should know how to do 9 and 17. In lesson 2.3, you should know how to do 15 and 25. In lesson 2.4, you should know how to do 21 and 33. In lesson 2.5, you should know how to do number 17. In 2.6, you should know how to do 15 and 23. In 2.7, you should know how to do problem number 1 and 43. And in 2.8, you should know how to do problem number 1. In 3.1, you should know how to do 1 and 25. All right, now I'm going to give you the number of points that go to each of the problems. So these are the number of points, so you know that if there's a 4-point problem, you want to make sure you know how to do that one. All right. All right. So in 2.1, number 3 is 1 point, number 9 is 1 point, and number 29 is 1 point. In lesson 2.2, number 9 is 1 point, number 17 is 4 points. You want to make sure you know how to do that one for the final. In 2.3, number 15 is worth 4 points, and number 25 is worth 3 points. In 2.4, number 21 is 2 points, and 33 is 1 point. And in 2.5, number 17 is worth 3 points. In 2.6, number 15 is worth 1 point, and number 23 is worth 1 point. In 2.7, number 1 is worth 2 points, and 43 is worth 2 points. In 2.8, number 1 is worth 1 point. In 3.1, number 1 is worth 1 point, and number 25 is worth 3 points. Now, I might be giving more problems later. Those are the problems I'm giving right now. If you're wondering why didn't I write them on the board, because I have a lot of students late to class. So I'm forcing students to have to watch the video. So if everybody who's late is missing out on problems for the final, which is unfortunate, but not my problem. All right, anybody have any questions about the exam on Monday morning, or anybody need anything repeated about the final?
Can I get it for 2.1, please?
2.1, number 3 is worth 1 point, number 9 is worth 1 point, and 29 is worth 1 point. All right, so there's still, let me just put it this way. There's 19 lessons that we've covered. So in the 19 lessons, there's 40 problems on the final. So that means that there's only 2 or 3 problems at most in any one section. So in other words, if you take 40 and divide by 19, it's a little over 2 problems. So every section, every lesson has 2 or at most 3 problems. So you have to be smart about how you're studying. All right, so today what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the opportunity to work in your teams. I would work problems for the exam on Monday. I would work problems 10-1, 10-2, 10-3. You already know 7 of them, which is half the test. All right, anybody want me to work a problem?
Can you work number 31 for 10.3, Ms. Birch?
All right, so this represents a sum of numbers, so adding numbers. So in 31, we have from, which is the lower limit or lower index, from 1 to 8 of 3 to the I. Now, remember what I said, that you should have this sheet in front of your face. This right here, they're saying to find the indicated sum, use the formula for the sum of the first 10 terms of a geometric sequence. So you would want to make sure you don't use the arithmetic one. You want to make sure you use the sum of a finite geometric sequence, this series, this one right here. Now, this is going up to 8, which isn't bad. But if it goes up to 93, you're going to be forced to use the formula. So they are asking us to use the formula, so we're going to use it just in case that number does go up to a big number. So the formula for a geometric series is S sub n is equal to a sub 1 times 1 minus r to the n over 1 minus r. So for this problem, it might be just easier to expand, but if on the test, that's a big number, you're not going to have time to do that. So we want to find the sum of the first 8 terms, because that's 1, right? Right? Yes, 1 through 8. So the first term, you could put it in there and find it. So a sub 1 would be 3 times 1, which is 3. We also need the common ratio. So we would want to find a sub 2 because we need at least 2 terms to find the common ratio. So that would be 3, put a 2 in, times 2 is 6. So to find the common ratio, if you take a sub 2 divided by a sub 1, we get 2. So the common ratio is 2. So this would be 1 minus 2 to the 8 divided by 1 minus 2. Okay, does anybody have any questions right now about what I'm doing? So if I use this formula, I have to know that n is 8 terms. I need to know the first term by putting in a 1, and I need to find the common ratio by knowing at least 2 terms so I can divide the successor divided by the previous. So in this problem, that negative is not part of the power. So what's 2 to the 8?
256.
And 1 minus that is -1. So we get this plus that is a -255 divided by a -1, which is a positive. So this would be 3 times a positive 255. So what is your answer for the sum of those 8 terms?
765.
That's not right. So let's check it again. What's 2 to the 8th? 256. So what's going on?
I think it's 3 to the power or 3 to the I instead of 3 times I.
Oh, it's 3 to the I?
Yeah.
Yep. So that means everything's wrong. Because that's the rule. So you got to follow the rule. So a sub 1 would be 3 to the 1, which is 3. And a sub 2 would be 3 squared, which is 9. So when you go to find the common ratio, it would be 9 divided by 3, which is 3. So back over here, this would be 1 minus 3 to the 8th divided by 1 minus 3. So this would be, that negative is not part of the power. 1 minus, what's 3 to the 8th?
6,561.
Thank you. And then 1 minus that would be a -2. So this would be 3 times that, and that would be a -6560 over a -2. And I would simplify that. Can you guys see this? I would simplify this. I would divide 6560 divided by 2. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive. What's 6560 divided by 2?
$3,280.
Okay. And now you multiply that. So what do you get?
9,840.
That's correct. So that's correct. So when you have summation notation, just remember that when you write down the formula, what do you need? You need the first term. Well, go find it. Put a 1 in. You need the common ratio. Well, how do you find it? You have to divide successive terms, right? I mean, you have to take a sub 2 and divide by a sub 1, a sub 3 divided by a sub 2, and get the common ratio. And then you have to remember that that negative is not part of the power. So it's 1 minus 6561. 6561 minus 1 is 6560, and the bigger number is negative, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Andres, do you get it?
Yeah, I understand it now, Ms. Rich. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. All right. Anybody else want me to work a problem? Anybody have a question about this one before I erase it? Anything else? All right, well, the reason why I want to give you some of those problems for the final so you can study over the weekend. I mean, you can't be studying at the last minute. So today we're going to study the problems for the exam on Monday, but you got to start studying the problems for the final. Let me also say one more thing about the final. The final, like I said, is 20% of the grade. So you can think about it like this. If you have a perfect grade right now, so if you have an A+ right now, you're going into the final with an 80%. Because 20 points, 20% hasn't been accounted for. So that's why when some people say, well, what if I get this and this? It's too hard to figure out. Because if you have an A+, if you have 100% in this class right now, you're going into the final with 80%, which is a B-. So 20 points could really help the grade out a lot, or it could damage the grade a lot. So you have to start studying as soon as you can. All right, so today we're looking at the test for Monday. We're worrying about one thing at a time here. So if we're going to work in the Math Wizard teams, make sure you're working together. You could be working in the online problems. And if you need help, make sure you ask me. Now's the time to ask me. Okay, anybody want to ask me any questions right now? All right, class is over at 12:10. We'll come back at 12. We'll come back at noon. Just to check in, make sure you don't want me to work any problems. Since I won't see you tomorrow. So then your test is on Monday. All right, you guys, I'll see you back at 12 o'clock. All right. All right, and we're back. Okay, so what's happening on Monday?
We have a quiz.
You have an exam, 10-1 through 10-3. That's 10-1, 2-3, right? So what time is the exam?
During class.
10:50.
During class. So class starts at 10:50. So you don't want to be late because it starts at 10:50. So you want to make sure you have all that time to do it. And the test will shut off at 11:50 in 1 hour. So from 10:50 to 11:50, and then you'll have 20 minutes to submit your scratch paper. Okay? And then after we take this exam, we'll start talking about the final. So just remember the senior final, if you're a senior, you have the final that next Monday during class, that's May 24th. Okay? And the rest of you that aren't seniors, we'll talk about the day of your final some other time. Let's not get confused about anything. All right. Okay, anybody want me to work a problem or anybody have any questions about anything?
So we don't come here to check in, we just go straight to the test.
You're not going to check in here. So you're not going to come to the WebEx meeting at all. You're just going to go straight to the test. But it'll open at 10:50 is when it's going to open. All right. Any other questions? Anyone want me to work a problem? Nothing else? All right. You guys have a good day then. We're done for today. Have a good day. All right. Have a nice weekend. Good luck on your exam on Monday morning. All right. Bye, guys.